Hi. Yes, how are
We
you?
did it.
I know, we finally made it together.
We're here.
How is life where you are? Where are you?
I am actually at home in my home office, which I love, and it's still in progress because we just moved in December, but I'm trying to get to my regular brokerage office more, so maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Anyway, but yeah, I'm at home. Monday is just off with a shot, so it's good. How are you?
Good. Yeah. Oh, my dog just opened the door.
See if okay.
Sorry about that. He's good at opening the door, but he's not very good at closing the door. So
He needs thumbs.
we have a guest puppy today. He needs like a playmate, and so they both need playmates. So the neighbor brings over the dog, and it's kind of nice. He's got 3 legs. Poor thing. Very cute.
Aw. I'm always amazed how dogs are animals in general are so adaptable. Like a lot of animals that lose a leg, they just adapt and they just keep going.
You know. Yeah, he's doing fine. He doesn't know. He doesn't care.
Aww.
So how are things in Idaho?
Well, things are good.
So tell us about your primary market, like where you primarily operate.
So I'm based in Boise, which is the capital of Idaho. I think we're up to about 750,000 people in the general Treasure Valley. And that's kind of similar how they do populations, I think, in the Metro Denver area, where you kind of had those big suburbs that they lump in.
Yeah.
But Boise is surrounded by multiple cities: Meridian, Nampa, Caldwell, Star Eagle, Middleton, and those are my zones. Those are the places where I work. Pretty much I stay about, I would say, within an hour of downtown Boise in terms of my business. I have gone further out than that before, depending on what the situation was. I've gone a little bit further west and a little bit further east, but that's primarily where I work with folks.
Okay.
Within about an hour.
I can't forget to tell everyone your name. Donna Wade.
Hi, Donna Wade, 4D Real Estate in Boise, Idaho.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so you go about an hour. That's like what I'll do. I'll do like about an hour. It kind of depends on what it is and what's going on, and that's probably most agents are the same. But an hour seems to be like the number. Like comfortable time frame.
Sorry, I'm getting close.
What's your current market like for buyers and sellers and appreciation, all that stuff?
Well, it's a fabulous market if you're a seller. I'm seeing lots of low number of days on market, lots of over asking. It felt like we had a little bit of a break for buyers for a few months, kind of a lull. Things seemed to even out a little bit, and we didn't have as much multiple offers and bidding, over asking and all that. And I'm working with several buyers right now, and we're working on 3-4 offers in. Mm-hmm. So I think the Boise area is similar to the rest of the country, that it seems to be still a seller's market. Yeah. In terms of the ease with which people can list and pretty much try to get what they want. But buyers are still buying houses. I would say here, I think there's competition at every price point, but I would say anything kind of under 500,000 is much more competitive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And our our average price point throughout multiple counties and surrounding in the valley went up anywhere between 20 to 33% in a year.
Oh my, 33%.
Now that's only one county, and keep in mind for that particular county, the prices were like the lowest prices, right? So they had the biggest jump, but Boise itself, 20% in a year.
Wow. Okay. And then, so what do you get for like 500,000 or what? So what can you get for 500,000? And then what does a typical like 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, what can you expect to pay for that?
It seems to be definitely creeping up. And of course, condition and location are always a factor. There are certain neighborhoods that are more, desirable than others. I would say, the outer areas like Boise and Ada County is where Boise's at. So Boise, Meridian, Star, Eagle, those are all in Ada County.
Okay.
And that's the highest median for a home. It's about 540,000 is the median home price. And for that, you could typically get 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. And you could get, an older home or even potentially a new construction,
Okay.
for that price point.
Is there a lot of new construction going on?
It's literally everywhere. It's crazy. And there's, and not just new construction of communities, but apartments.
Okay.
Everything is booming. So there's a lot of construction. I would say new construction is for the buyer who is willing to, and this is always true, but who's willing to wait a bit, doesn't have to get into something right away, because you're definitely going to be looking at anywhere from several months on a waiting list, and then 8-12 months in to the buy, to the building process.
Okay. And are you running into any so my mom does a lot of new builds, and something that happened with her, and I've heard of it happening in other places too, she's in South Carolina, is like the builder ends up spending more than they thought, and then they jump the price up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a risk with the new build.
There is always that risk. And that was definitely more the case when wood, the wood prices were just outrageous. And so that's something that, as a representative for buyers, that we need to really dig into right out of the gate to see what kind of addendum they have in place or what the builder says. And that's something we have to ask right out of the gate, what happens if it takes longer than you said, there's delays, if materials go up, are you going to try to, and there's some builders who won't try to come back and increase the price, but you have to be very mindful of that. So it's a really good point.
Yeah, that and protect your earnest money. I had a situation with earnest money. I made very, very clear that, if they couldn't sell their house, this was a couple of years ago, they couldn't sell their house, but they got their earnest money back because they couldn't obviously purchase the home. And I got it in writing from our sales rep on that new build, and he ended up having to write a check personally for them.
Oh my.
Contracts are tight and they protect that earnest money
wow,
very hard. So yeah, it was I thought that was like the weirdest thing. They're like, yeah, he wrote us a check from his checkbook.
Oh my gosh.
They got their money. He couldn't say that he didn't promise it. So
well, that's true. Yeah, it's and that's why people, I've encountered a person or two over the last couple of years who ended up sort of going, because what we've also got here, some of the builders, you have to register your clients with them before your clients go look at anything, or they basically say they'll cut you out as their representative, which I find very problematic and troubling, because as a buyer's agent in Idaho, on the listing side is the side where all of the commissions are taken care of. So when, I'm representing my buyers, I'm really genuinely there just to represent their interests and help keep them in, the integrity in the process. And to be cut out of that and to have the builder's agent representing the builder and the buyer, I know it can work. So I don't want to, I don't want to get too negative about it, but I feel like that's a conflict of interest.
Yeah. No, it's good.
So I've had a couple of people end up, who I had just met, or they were referrals, what have you, and ended up, going straight to the builder. And I was like, okay, well, good luck. And I want all the best things to happen. But I feel like buyers need their own advocate.
Because they don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
And
that's right. And it's our job to help them figure it out.
Yeah, totally. So tell us more about Boise. So why would people move to Boise? What is who's the ideal person? They're thinking about moving, they don't know where to go. Boise would be perfect for it.
I think that Boise was the best kept secret. It's not quite a secret anymore. I think it's ideal for pretty much anyone, honestly. I think about people who have families that want to raise kids. It's a really incredibly safe place. I mean, our crime rate is extremely low. It's very clean. We don't have a bunch of garbage or graffiti, or we're still kind of a smallish town that's growing. Mm-hmm. So, I think about, I raised a son here, and I always felt like that was a real bonus to being here. I think it's great for people who want to retire. If you don't need to come here and find a job, it's a great place to, find your little corner of the world and just rest and, have hobbies or do whatever. And you can still get anywhere from Boise as far as, taking a flight somewhere, going to wherever. I wouldn't call it a hub like Denver is. In fact, you can get in and out. Well, it's a bonus, actually, I think, because you can get in and out of our airport in about 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's
tops.
It takes 15 minutes just to walk to your gate from where you get into
the terminal. I can't even with DIA. It's crazy.
It's always the end. It's always the end. No matter where I'm going, it's always the last gate.
Of course it is. You got to get on that ridiculous train, and I know.
That's nice. That's awesome.
It is, and I actually think it's a great place for young people as far as there's a lot of different companies here, and of course people can telecommute now, so it doesn't even matter a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But as far as quality of life, we have 4 seasons, genuinely 4 different seasons here. And we're coming out. We're having what we call false spring right now because we've had beautiful sunny days. I've got some bulbs popping up. I'm like, yeah, it's going to freeze any day now, but we have 4 seasons. So you get, if you're an outdoor person, it's a great place. There's skiing, snowboarding is literally up the mountain, 45 minutes to an hour from Boise. Okay. You can be skiing or boarding. We have a huge, very long trail that goes through the majority. Gosh, I really should know where it starts and stops, but it definitely goes all the way through Boise into Meridian. It's miles and miles and miles, and it's called the Green Belt. Okay. And it's we have a river that runs through Boise. So there's people kayaking, floating the river. We've got a little whitewater rafting section. Well, and I'm kind of going nuts because now I'm thinking about summer. Sorry. But we have more running river water in Idaho than any other state. So if you like to raft, fish, anything, ice fishing, you name it. But anyway, going back to younger people, we've got Boise State University right in the middle of downtown, which is a great university for people of all ages. They have, dorms there, but also for non-traditional students. Yeah, I'm a big fan of my town.
Yeah, no,
it's a great place to live. I've been here 30 years, and I would say that it's really coming into its own. as far as we've got really high quality restaurants. If you're a foodie, lots of good culinary options, a lot of breweries if you're into that kind of thing, lots of wineries because of our climate. We're in the high desert, and that's a great place to grow grapes.
Okay.
And so you can tour wineries, even, in Boise, we have some. So I just think that there's something for everyone here. I do.
I kind of want to move there now.
Well, you should come and visit and stay with me and check it out, Victoria.
Definitely should. I mean, my husband would be interested. I think he feels Colorado's getting a little crowded, and he's like not far from where we live now. It's changed so much. So, I mean, it sounds really nice. It sounds very similar to Colorado, but in the good ways.
Yeah, it's been compared to Denver when Denver, like decades ago, Denver was smaller. But I grew up in Colorado, and I went to school, elementary school in Littleton and junior high school in Littleton and Castle Rock. And then I graduated from Highlands Ranch High School. And, I spent all my formative years in Colorado, and Colorado is a beautiful, wonderful place.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go back, I'm like, wow, it is so much bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a big place now, and it's changed,
yeah.
But there's a lot of beautiful things there. I'd love to visit. And I feel like Boise's like its little sister city.
That's a good comparison. Yeah. How are your property taxes and stuff?
Well, they vary from county to county. I think our property taxes are pretty low comparatively with some other places like California, even Washington.
Yeah.
So Idaho homeowners get a homeowner's exemption of $125,000. So if you, and you're taxed here based on the assessed value of the home, not what you paid for it.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how that compares to Colorado.
Yeah. The assessed value changes after you purchase, but I don't think it goes all the way up sometimes to that same level. It can take a big jump though.
Yes. Well, and we're wrangling with that here too, because the homes are assessed, and as the market changes and the prices are rising, and it definitely impacts the assessments. But they're typically still less than what you paid on the market. But we are a non-disclosure state. So when you file your homeowner's exemption form, you do not have to put on that form what you paid for the house. Oh. So the government here has to, the assessor has to they have to assess based on their market data, but they're not going to you don't have to tell them what you actually paid.
Oh, interesting. I don't even know.
I know.
I should look into that here. I don't know how that works here. I think that they know.
Yeah, it's interesting. And they're running comps and all of that, but typically you're going to see the assessed values lower. And so let's say you bought a house for $500,000, they've assessed it at $450,000, then you're going to get $125,000 off the top. So that'll take you down to being taxed on $325,000, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And then it's a percentage. So that's Ada County. And I think our property taxes are pretty competitive. Other counties, they tend to be a little higher, like a neighboring county, Canyon County, which I do sell in, is higher.
Okay. Yeah, it varies here a lot too.
But different counties.
Different counties. Yeah. But generally Colorado, compared to, also similar to Idaho, compared to the rest of the country, is pretty low. I mean, New England is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's nice. Nice having you.
Yeah.
So
for some reason, I'm having your volume is really low, and I'm trying to figure out if it's me. Can you hear me pretty well?
Yeah, no, I can hear you perfectly. I have a little microphone here. But yeah, my mom had this when I did her too. She had similar, she just didn't hear me. But on the recording, it comes up, so it's okay.
Okay.
If I talk louder, maybe that'll help. But I think we're wrapping up here soon. I do have a couple other questions, like medical.
When I think I adjusted the audio and that helped a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
So how's medical stuff? And any military bases and schools?
So there's an Air Force base within 45 minutes of Boise in a town called Mountain Home. And so, yeah, we definitely have a military presence there. And, you know, I've had buyers looking there in Mountain Home, but that does tend to be more of a military haven. The town itself isn't much to write home about, as far as there's not a lot going on. Okay. It's real small. And then we definitely have a variety of hospitals to choose from, some really great facilities. We've got one hospital that tends to focus on, you know, heart. It's kind of a heart specialty hospital. And even had a private hospital that opened that was fabulous. My husband had a total knee replacement and ended up going, and I mean, it was wonderful. And it's probably 5 to 10 years old. It's pretty new, but there's been a variety of different medical facilities opening up to try to accommodate more people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We have primary health here. I don't know if you guys have primary health there, but they're like walk-in clinics and they're everywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have similar urgent cares.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you know, the schools, so I think, and I always tell clients, like, do your research and figure out what you're looking for. But I will tell you, there's some, you know, better rated schools than others, just like everywhere else. But there have also been a lot of charter schools that have popped up. So some independent, different kinds of schools with different philosophies and different ways of teaching that have cropped up, I think, to just offset the traditional system. Yeah. So, and I'd say that's kind of Idaho in a nutshell. We're always sort of doing our own thing. Yeah. It's a place for people, you know, people are attracted also, I think, because it's a very independent state. Mm-hmm. And I would say with education, I know that there's a variety of, you know, like we have a community college here now. That was a huge asset. But then I would say I encourage buyers to research what's important to them about schools. Yeah. You know, and what you want, I think you can find here. I'll put it that way.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something for everybody.
I think so. You know, if you're looking for an all-day daycare or, you know, kindergarten, you can find certain schools have that. Yeah. If you're looking for, you know, Montessori schools, they're here. I mean, we just have a lot of different options. Yeah. So I encourage people to see what fits best for them. Awesome. Yeah.
Well, if people want to reach you, how do they do that?
Well, text and phone calls are the fastest way. So I'm at 208-724-5373. Text me, call me, carrier pigeon.
Smoke signals.
Yeah. Or you can email, of course, number 4DRE Idaho@gmail. Okay. But I'm really responsive. I love meeting new people, and I'm really open to, you know, if someone has more questions, just even from seeing this video with you, if they have more questions for me about, well, tell me more about this aspect or that, I'm so game to talk to anyone about Idaho and the Treasure Valley, and to be a resource before, you know, and then if folks want to come here, I'll take them around and we can have some fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I know, we only scratched the surface. So it's a good intro video to Idaho. And,
yeah. And I appreciate you doing it too.
Sure, of course. I want to learn more about other places too, because we have a lot of people here that are looking to move elsewhere, cash in on their homes here and find somewhere to go. And I want to be able to, be knowledgeable in the different areas. So, Idaho sounds like it's got such potential for people that love it here, but maybe want to go back to the way Colorado used to be.
Yes.
So
I think you're right about that. I think just, and there's always challenges to growth and all of that. But I would say, yeah, Idaho and the Treasure Valley, if you want a bit of a city experience, you can have it. But, you're also within half hour of just jumping on the river and being in the middle of nowhere if you want to be. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm happy to talk to anybody to get into more depth, and I appreciate you and you giving me the opportunity to do this.
Of course, and thank you for agreeing to do it.
Absolutely. Well, any chance to talk to you?
I know.
Because you're fun.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you met. And we did meet in person, so that's awesome.
I know. Well, and I'm always looking for reasons to travel to Denver.
Yeah.
And so when I do, you and I are going for drinks.
Yes.
Good.
I'll have a virgin pina colada.
A virgin pina colada.
Yeah.
Anything with a pina colada that sounds like it could be, laying on a beach sounds good to me. A virgin or otherwise is fine by me.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Victoria. I'll talk to you later.